Now, the Antarctic is the coldest, highest, driest and windiest continent on Earth, which might explain why there is no native population. Have you ever thought about maybe moving there? Well, at the end of this month, 12 ordinary people will set off to do just that. They'll travel over 9,000 miles from the UK to Port Lockroy, which is an 80-year-old Antarctic base that was essential to researching the effects of climate change. And this is where some of them will be staying. It's on Goudia Island, which is roughly the size of a football pitch. Some of them will spend up to 5 months in that base. And in that time, they will face unpredictable weather, near constant daylight and sub-zero temperatures. They will have no running water and no flushing toilet. Everyone in the new team has given up their day jobs to embark on the journey, but they aren't the first. There's been a British presence as far back as 1944. And here's what the last team to head there said in February, shortly after they arrived.
It's 3 months that we've been here in Port Lockroy, and it's going fantastic. I think we're just absolutely loving it still. It's getting used to everything taking a lot longer. Just that adjusting to such a different life is what we were doing first of all. And I think we've completely got into the swing of things now.
It feels really special because it feels like we're walking in the footsteps of the people that have come here before us. And in some ways, sometimes we compare our lives to how it was here in the 40s and the 50s.
It's too late to back out now. Welcome, everybody. Joining us on the sofa are Lou Hoskin, Aoife McKenna, Maggie Cole and George Clark. You're off to the Antarctic, everybody. Maggie, what did your family say when you told them you were going?
So they were super excited for me. So we're heading off with a UK-based charity called the UK Antarctic Heritage Trust. And they're used to me kind of doing unusual jobs abroad, but I don't think they were expecting me to come out with Antarctica.
No.
When I was just reading that, was it the coldest, windiest, driest, worstest place on Earth? What on earth made you think you might want to go?
Why not? You know, there's such a unique opportunity. So when it came along, I just thought, give it a go.
What are you going to be doing there, George? You know?
I'm going to be looking after the post office. So I'll be the postmaster there. So I'll be dealing with postcards, letters, issuing stamps, giving that all-important Antarctic stamp.
Which is what everyone wants.
Absolutely.
It looks quite remote. Do you get much passing trade in the Antarctic?
I don't think we have many letters coming to us, but I think there's a fair few people sending them onwards. So, yeah.
Now, Lou, I believe you had actually a friend suggest you might want to go there. Frenemy, who knows?
Yeah, trying to get rid of me.
Yeah, go on. So how did that come about?
So it's someone I work with back home, and he'd been out there a couple of years ago as an electrician. So as part of the UK Antarctic Heritage Trust's work in Antarctica, they also conserve the buildings. It's a really important part, is actually having a physical structure for people to visit. And he'd gone there to do some restoration work on the electrics. Had an amazing time, came back, and when we were talking about it, he suggested it might be for me.
And now you know you're going yourself. How are you feeling when you see these pictures? I mean, it looks spectacular, but it also looks challenging.
Yes, yeah. I think when we first all found out we were going to be the team and we saw the pictures, we just had this sort of moment of, oh, that's going to be our home. That's where we're going to live. But I think, you know, it's incredibly beautiful and it's such a rare and special opportunity. I think mostly at this point we're all just incredibly excited.
And Aoife, you've had a little bit of experience of an environment like this before, haven't you? What have you done before?
Yeah, that's right. So I have a museum background, but I worked on South Georgia, which is in the sub-Antarctic. So not as far south as this one. This is a little bit more challenging, as you said, but it really got me passionate about Antarctic history and Antarctic heritage. And it's maybe not a topic that people know a lot about because not everyone gets to visit these sites, but that's what the charity is bringing to the UK.
And why is it important that we keep that going?
Because Port Lockroy itself is basically the birthplace of British Antarctic science, which is really, really exciting. It's the first permanent British Antarctic base. So people who get to visit, and when we get to bring the base to people here in the UK, they can really see the birthplace of what scientists are continuing today in Antarctica.
I've just noticed, Lee, you've already got the T-shirt.
Yeah, I thought I'd come prepared.
Got your penguins on. The penguins, is that what you're... I mean, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yes, yeah. So we live amongst a colony of Gen 2 penguins, and part of the work we do there is sort of monitoring the breeding success of the colony. So we'll be doing various penguin counts, and that will all be led by Maggie, who is our wildlife monitor.
Oh, come on, Maggie, tell us about the penguins.
Yeah, so like Lou was saying, I'm just so excited to get out there, and we'll count all the kind of chicks, we'll count the nests, the eggs in the nests, and this will be part of a long-term study that kind of contributing towards that long-term study of the colony out, the Gentoo penguins out in Antarctica.
Must be quite tricky, isn't it? Don't they all look the
How do you
same?
tell them apart?
It will be tricky. It'll be tricky, but we
Are they
will.
tagged or?
No, they're not tagged, so we'll just kind of divide them into sections, and as a team, we'll go out and do it together.
They're so cute.
They are so cute.
But, I mean, we have spoken to people who've done this before, haven't we? I don't think they smell great.
I have heard that.
There's lots of fresh air.
Yeah.
You get used to it after a while.
Yeah, maybe.
George, I mean, it's great to see you guys together, and there are other members of the team as well. How much contact do you have with one another during that? Because I imagine you're not all together all the time.
So I think we're going to be living in fairly close quarters. We've obviously got some conservation carpenters coming and going throughout the time, so there will be a movement of people. But yeah, I think we're going to be on the island for the full 5 months.
So you're all getting to know one another now.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, we realised the other day we've known each other for 5 months already, and you know we've all clicked and really get on well. So
Great.
OK, is there internet? Can you watch the telly? What do you do?
No telly.
No, it doesn't go dark.
We do
play
have some
cards?
internet connection, so we will be able to contact the outside world. Maybe we won't want to contact the outside world so much. I think for a lot of us, the isolation is the attraction and, you know, disconnecting a little bit, but maybe not too much. Nice to say hi to friends and family.
How do you manage your sleep? Not that we're obsessed with sleep, but how do you manage your sleep? Because if it's light all the time, you know, how's that going to work?
Yeah.
thick curtains and an eye mask, I think.
The obvious.
Yeah.
Join the club. Lou, are you worried about that sense of isolation, that far-awayness?
No, I don't think so. I guess we'll find out. But no, I think we all knew what we were getting into, and the interview and recruitment process with the charity is really clear in the fact that you are going somewhere very remote, and you do need to have that in your head and be okay with that. And they really make a big effort to make sure you have in place various methods to feel comfortable with the isolation. Sort of, we think about how we want to speak to our family, how often, how we want to speak to each other, and sort of establish a way of working and living together that means in 5 months, hopefully, there'll be no arguments.
I'm trying to remember, imagine the interview process. I mean, what do they ask you at an interview for a job like this?
It's an interesting selection process.
It was.
One of the things was building a tent wearing oven mitts and a blindfold. Yeah,
We obviously did well at it.
Yeah.
must have done, clearly, yeah.
And George, your background is music, I think. Is it
Music events, building tents, actually, so I had a bit of a head
Advantage
start.
there.
So
on
I was
that one.
thinking, how are you going to be putting on concerts, playing music? No, it's like literally making events happen, which I suppose there are similarities.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to working away for months on end, used to living as a crew, so hopefully some of those skills I can transfer to this, but I've never done anything anywhere like this.
Yeah.
Well, look, will you send us a postcard?
Absolutely.
George will put it in the post for you.
There we go.
He can look after that. Great to see you all. Good luck. It sounds absolutely fascinating,
Yeah.
fantastic. What an experience you'll be able to talk about. We look forward to hearing about it so much. Take care.
Thank
you.
you.